And what's cracking, you guys? Welcome to the Mango Grove. How is everyone doing? How many people do we have in here? Not enough. I'll wait. We'll wait for a couple more people to join in. I want to keep this as short and sweet as possible. Today we're going to be talking about how this might be a trap. Probably going to get a lot of hate. By the way, I checked out the XRP comment section, the video from yesterday, and I'm very grateful for those of you, whether it's positive, of course the positive comments and the most encouraging comments are always welcome, and I'm very happy reading them. But yeah, thank you for taking the time to get into the comment section. And yeah, I was sort of going through them. And I'm like, I'm going to have to reply as soon as I finish off this live stream, but I am reading them, guys. Something wrong?
I'm just hijacking the live.
Oh, okay. Sean's here as well.
You can't look this pretty with the camera without me. I'm here to make sure everyone knows who you belong to. So let's do
okay, 42 people. I would really appreciate it if you guys would just smash the likes. You'll be surprised as to how far that really takes this very live stream. So that would really help me out. Just go ahead and hit the like, and then we're gonna jump right into Bitcoin and what it is that I'm seeing on Bitcoin's chart right now. And also give me just a thumbs up for the audio check. Tell me if the audio is a-okay, because what I have to present is actually super interesting. It's really interesting. I promise you there's one. I'm going to show you several charts to back my thesis as to why I believe that this could be a trap. Of course, we're going to play the probabilities here. I'm going to show you every side of Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin is the index of the crypto sphere. It's ultimately going to dictate whether or not we get into bear market or we stay in a bull market. And I have the guru, Sean, right behind me to interject and say, Krisha, you are wrong. You'll be surprised as to just how many times we're on two different ends of the spectrum with respect to the markets.
85% of the time.
Yeah. So it's dinner talk. Guys, it's dinner talk. Okay. We're always at an impasse. I'm like, no, I think you're wrong. He's like, Krisha, no, you are wrong. And that's just how dinner goes. And then not for the few times, I think I'll be reasonable here. Okay. 30% of the time when we're on the same page, it's good. But it's good otherwise too.
That's when we're max long, guys.
Yeah, that's when we're max long. Okay, cool. Rudy Poo says, putting some mango habanero mustard on my potatoes this morning. Is that really a thing? That sounds amazing. I just had the biggest carby meal ever. And now mango habanero mustard sounds pretty dope. That's something I'd put in my sandwich. Hell yeah. I want to first begin by saying one thing. Yesterday, just as an experiment for myself, I was charting. Markets were dumping. All of us can see this. And I told Sean about this over dinner that, Sean, I think the bears are sweating right now. Like, they are sweating. He's like, why? Why do you think so? I'm like, I put on a bunch of small short positions, right? Just to get a gauge on what I would feel as a bear. Now, these were just for an emotion study, right? As a bear, how would I currently feel about the markets? And I'll say this, for the few positions that I did put on, the fact that certain timeframes, the lower time frame specifically, I'm talking about the 4-hour, 12-hour, they did not see the kind of follow through you would expect them to see when the markets are this red, right? So I was telling Sean, I'm like, I can see the altcoins especially. I put it on a bunch of altcoins, not on Bitcoin. Put on a bunch of altcoins. I'm like, they're not seeing those drops that you'd expect them to see if someone was sitting in a short position right now, which is telling me that they're finding support, catching a bit on certain levels, and as a bear in that position yesterday, I was uncomfortable. I'm like, no, this is catching a bit. This is catching a bit. If there's any time the bears would be sweating, it would be here. So I figured that was an interesting sort of experiment that I had for myself yesterday. Yeah.
Here's an experiment for you. Just switch on. Actually, do this. Go on over to the dashboard. This is what you guys should be doing, by the way, too. Or if you guys don't have premium access, just take a screenshot with what Krish is about to do. Yeah, switch to crypto, and you can filter out all the coins that are long against Bitcoin. You guys can and should be doing this. Just hit the Bitcoin pairing right there. Okay, and look at that. Okay, we're seeing the markets dump, guys. Okay, we're seeing the markets dump, and you're looking at BNB, BTC being neutral against Bitcoin, XRP long against Bitcoin, XMR long against Bitcoin, LTC long against Bitcoin, Zcash, of course, long against Bitcoin. If you go on over to the charts too, because she's gone over to one of the charts, just go to XRP. Like everyone loves XRP, right? Let's talk about XRP against Bitcoin though, right? And switch to the daily, because remember the markets have been dumping over the past couple of days. What do you expect when Bitcoin is dumping? Clear out. I just want to look at the candles. When Bitcoin is dumping, everyone's expecting the zoom into the most recent localized time frame, like the past 2 days. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So you guys can see XRP has pretty much, in fact, yesterday it was green. Yesterday it outperformed Bitcoin while Bitcoin was dumping. Okay. That's not what bears want to see, especially when they've gotten into the habit of every time Bitcoin's dumping, let's short all coins because all coins have been dumping harder than Bitcoin, right? That pattern just broke because I think everyone is probably, or rather the laggards are all trying to do the same thing and it's not working anymore, right? That's probably what Kusha means by bears are sweating. Bitcoin is going down, all coins aren't going down with it. In fact, they are holding steady. So they've been outperforming Bitcoin, especially the majors, right? You're looking at Sol BTC too, Kusha. Go check out Sol BTC.
I'm just going to switch on to the actual, there we go. Sol BTC.
Oh, could they not see the chart?
No, they could see the chart. It was just like a tad bit smaller.
Okay, I see. Yeah. So Sol BTC too, you can see 2 daily green candles, right? I know, guys, the trend looks shit over here, but my point is Bitcoin has been dumping during this phase. Okay, Bitcoin has been dumping during this phase, and we are seeing green candles on all coins. ETH 2 looked really, really good. Now, I'm not saying, guys, hey, go max long here, but if there was ever a time to surprise everyone with an altcoin season, and you guys know what I consider altcoin season, buy strength. Don't try to pick every random coin. But the markets are clearly showing their hand here as to what they consider strength. Sol is clearly green over the past couple of days. We have XRP. I think BNB, to be honest, has done really well. XRP has done really well. Zcash is a no-brainer. That was my mistake. I wanted to long that. I got. I'll talk about that in my live stream. I'll talk to you guys about my mistakes over the past few days. I think it'll be very educational. But yeah, overall, guys, there's money to be made for the next. Volatility equals money, period. That's how you guys got to play it. And I've explained this idea to you in my previous stream. It doesn't matter what direction the market is going. Your responsibility to your family is to make money regardless of direction. Okay, get used to. You don't need to learn how to short with leverage, right? You can even go short allocation, sell 25% of your position when the markets give you the sign, buy back cheaper. You increase your allocation, right? You don't need to just short by going leverage, and don't get so like cult like with that. Oh, I will never sell XRP no matter what. I will never sell Cardano no matter what. No, the Cardano community and the XRP community will appreciate you being there to buy at support when they need you to buy at support. So with that, I'll let you take over for the rest of the stream. I'll just be like conquering the mic. Okay? Yeah, enjoy.
Okay, you're gonna join us on chat, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. He's gonna join us on chat. And of course, he's likely going to be doing a live stream on Monday. My mic is a bit loose here. Okay, yeah, he's going to be doing another live stream on Monday, and I'm hoping that Sean can give us a bit more clarity on the macro stuff, because all I see right now is that every major country is easing. Okay, the Fed came out a couple of weeks ago during that last FOMC meeting, pretty much announcing the date in which QT ends, which is going to be December 1st. So I feel like there's a lot of ease coming in the system, right? And historically, it's not been a very good idea to fight it. That being said, you never want to look at these things in isolation. You always want to back it up with a bit of, not with a bit of TA. You always want to back it up with solid TA. TA is the only thing that works. Even the biggest FA guys ultimately always, finally, they bank on TA to then make their next directional move. They'll always look at the chart and be like, oh, the chart is saying XYZ. Doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. TA is king. Price is ultimately the arbitrator of all debate. Now, I want to talk about, well, the very title of this live stream, why this could be a trap. I know, it's kind of loaded, okay? It's bold. So let's talk about it. Why this could be a trap. Well, let's begin with, I already have like a pretty big bias on the chart, but I'm going to knock it off for now, okay? We'll be going over the bullish stuff first, and then, of course, I'll be walking you through the bearishness of it, which is still pretty prevalent. It's there, so we'll assess everything across the board. But I feel like a lot of people are missing the bullish lens here. So let's begin. I want to first talk about, of course, Bitcoin relative to the biweekly dynamic. Okay, I don't want you guys to forget the historic sort of signature that we've seen through this cycle. All right, I'm not even going to look at the past cycles. I feel like there's a lot that's changed across the board, wherein some fractals are not working as well anymore. Right? So we will look at the information that we have in front of us that has been really good this cycle. All right? It's had an amazing hit rate. And if we're playing the probabilities, this is something that we simply cannot ignore, right? Which is none other than the biweekly dynamic support. So far, come on, I'm just like Butterfingers today. So far, every time through this entire cycle, every time price is retraced into the biweekly, we've caught a bid. Okay, and notice it's come all the way down to the bottom of that zone there. Now, Sean has built a new position manager zone for you guys to give you guys a bit of a buffer. Sometimes, price will sort of dip underneath the dynamic, and you're there left wondering, I'm like, is this still safe? Is this still safe? Can it drop lower? What happens here? Is this still safe? And also it helps you guys to get greedy on certain bids. Okay, so it's got that entire position manager cloud around the dynamic support. And you can see that every time we've dipped into it, that's where we've often caught a bid, right? And every single time, guys, every single time, I kid you not. Okay, it's caught a bid. Now, once again, and this is something that I'd mentioned a couple of days ago. I believe it was on the Clubhouse or maybe one of the previous videos. But I was looking at price on the biweekly dynamic. I'm like, no, if we're going through historic precedent, there's a good chance we see weakness here where it actually comes all the way down to tap the bottom of the dynamic support, and we've done just that. Are we holding right now? Yes, we are. When does the next bi-weekly candle open? It opens on the 24th of November. Okay, so we still have about a week left, right? 10 days left on this candle until we get a bit more clarity. But for now, we're holding. The second bullish tilt, of course, as many of you guys know, is none other than the monthly 10. Now, I don't want to sound like a broken record here. Right, but now monthly 10, what you guys need to understand is that the previous month of October closed over. Okay, this month closed over. Now, for now, this month of November, now we're only midway through the month of November. Right, we still have a good 2 more weeks left on this monthly candle for us to have a bit of finality, not a bit, for us to have finality on this close. But for now, once again, just to go back in time to show you how this has fared, how price has fared relative to the monthly 10. Is it normal for price to be dipping underneath the monthly 10 SMA only to close over? Well, once again, let's get into the rest of the cycle, right? So far, what do you guys think? On closer inspection, yes, this has happened once before, summer of 2024, as well as earlier this year, April of 2025, where prices dipped below only to close significantly over. Right, so this too, normal, right? But now let's get into a few more different things. Okay, now I want to give a major shout out to Exponent from the Mango Seed chat. We had a mastermind call this past Thursday. Was it this Thursday or last Thursday? I think it was last Thursday. And he brought up this system to everyone's attention. He's like, Krisha, you were actually looking at this maybe a year ago. And this was something that I was following. But the problem is that when you're always dabbling in TA and you're looking at several charts and several systems, I don't know about you guys, but for me at the very least, I tend to forget some. If I don't note it down, I tend to forget it. And even if I do note it down, I have to then remember to go and look at it. There's just so much. There's just so much. So he's like, Krisha, you had brought this up. But once again, Exponent, I want to give you major props for this because I would not have looked at it had you not brought it up again. Okay, now check this out, guys. All right, now, first of all, let's just come to terms with the fact that all cyclicals, bi-weekly and monthly, we're still safe. Still safe. Bitcoin ultimately is what's going to dictate whether or not we're in a bull market or we're in a bear market. All right, if Bitcoin is in a bull market, well, for those of you who are into XRP, XRP still has a chance of resurrection. Albeit one can actually say that XRP doesn't need a resurrection because it's actually holding up really, really well, right? But anyways, that's a different topic. We'll get to XRP in a second. On to Bitcoin. Now check this out, okay? This is the top chart is Bitcoin longs, okay? Bitcoin longs on Bitfinex. This is a monthly chart. And the bottom chart is Bitcoin USDT monthly time frame. All right, let me just see if I got everything. All right, cool. Okay, now follow along. Follow along. This was a really cool observation. And thank you once again, Exponent. Thank you for bringing this up. You guys are going to like this. Every time Bitcoin longs have built up, so on the top chart, when you see that uptrend, it means the longs are basically tallying up. More and more and more longs are actually building up. Okay, when it's red, it means those longs are taking profits, right? And you can see how they've been moving in cycles, right? Now, if I have to show you, okay, the observation is this. Every time the longs build up, that's when Bitcoin has been in this phase of consolidation. Right? So it's in these phases of consolidation where the longs are building their positions. Okay, so we had one entire phase right here. I'm actually going to mark it out with a duration line. Okay, that way there is a bit of a match. Beautiful. There we go. Okay. So this is it. So this happened between April 2024 all the way to October 2024, or rather, not October. I think it was September 2024. You can see that the longs were ticking up, building. Okay, that was when Bitcoin was in its phase of consolidation. When Bitcoin started to rally, notice it was on the rally where they started taking profits. Okay, so once again, I'm just going to mark that out with a... I got to keep changing colors. That's the issue. I want to mark that out with a horizontal. Get out of here. That's my timer. Really? I set a really short timer for myself. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to change color. Okay, October to Jan. Okay, we're going to change that into an orange. Cool. October to Jan was when they started taking profits, and that's when Bitcoin started rallying. Then fast forward to that next leg up where the longs once again started building up. What phase was that in? That happened between Jan 2025 all the way to March 2025. Let's go ahead. Copy, paste. Okay. We're just pretty much going through this. I didn't plan to show this. So I'm a bit like rusty with my tools right here, but just bear with me. Okay, so you can see the longs were building up, right? And that's when Bitcoin was in its phase of consolidation or was like having this minor pullback, right? That's when the longs were building up. Then as soon as Bitcoin started rallying, what do we see that chart do? Okay, that's when they started taking profits off the table. Once again, it was the same thing. Okay, so this was it. Started taking profits off the table right here. Now, once again, we've been seeing the longs start building up since July. July, August, September, October, November. You're seeing that uptrend once again. And in that same corresponding period, what is Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin is either going sideways or pulling back, right? Once we see that push up, now this, you can see the alignment, right? You're seeing the longs build, only for them anticipating those basically another gain, and that's when they start taking profits off the table. But this is always sort of it's come before the next leg up. You often see the longs build up through this cycle at the very least. The longs start building up before Bitcoin has its next leg up. Okay, so this was a pretty neat correlation that we found that Exponent brought up to everyone's attention in the previous mastermind call, which, man, I totally forgot about it, but this is actually pretty epic. Right, so now we're seeing this too. Now we're seeing, okay, Bitcoin is holding all the cyclicals. If you're looking at the long positions build up once again, which is often just come before the next Bitcoin leg up, right? So now we have that too in our arsenal. Now, another thing that we have in our arsenal, which I brought up previously in one of my previous daily updates, was our weekly oscillators. Weekly oscillators, guys. We're looking at the RSI and the Stokes together, okay? We're looking at both the indicators together hitting their bearish control zones. Stokes underneath that 20 percentile mark, okay? RSI underneath the 50 percentile mark. Throughout this entire cycle, we've had it 3 times before. Where? Back here when September 2023, Bitcoin dipped. That's when Bitcoin dipped to $25,000 in that range. That was its range low. Stokes dipped below 20%, the 20 percentile mark. RSI 2 below the 50 percentile mark. You see that? Okay. That was the dip. That's where the rally began from. Okay, that was the initiation. That was the buy the dip opportunity. All right, fast forward to the next time we got the same setup. Where was that? Once again, Bitcoin was in that massive 6-month-long consolidation on its lows. Once again, the range lows at $56,000. Okay, this was it right here. Brilliant. That was the summer of 2024. Yes, summer of 2024. Stokes as well dipped below that 20 percentile mark. RSI as well below the 50 percentile mark. Okay, that too was a buy the dip opportunity. That too is where the monthly got tested. That too is where the biweekly got tested. All right, only for price to catch a bid, and that was off the races. Okay, fast forward to the next time this happened. Once again, Bitcoin dipped to $83,000. In that same corresponding period, Stokes below the 20 percentile mark, RSI below the 50 percentile mark. Was that a buy the dip opportunity? Yes, it was. What do you guys think? So you're seeing a bit of an alignment here, right? And in that same corresponding period, bi-weekly got tested, monthly got tested. Okay, and now we're also seeing the longs build up. Which often precedes Bitcoin's next leg up. All right, now once again, fast forward to today. Bitcoin currently at biweekly dynamic support. Bitcoin tested the monthly last month, closed over the monthly last month. All right, this is it right here. Where are the Stokes at? Below the 20 percentile mark. Where is the RSI at? Below the 50 percentile mark. We're going to get to the TD Smith PhD. We're going to get to the bearish stuff. First, I want to present the bullish case to you and why I believe that there could be a potential reversal here as well. So this is my way of telling you, do not jump the gun. We do not have the signals just yet, guys. There is no confirmation. Okay. And if you're someone who's playing the probability, even if you're looking at the bullish divergence, all well and good. Look at the bullish divergence. You want to play the bullish divergence, play the bullish divergence, but consider all of the information in front of you. Don't cherry pick your information. Don't say I'm playing the probabilities. But then this also has probabilities, right? There's a certain hit rate to all of these systems as well. You cannot consider the probability of just the bearish case and just completely neglect the bullish case. If you're playing the probabilities, play it well. Look at all of the information in front of you and give this information the weighting it deserves. All right, but make a calculated decision. But what needs to be said here is that as far as the bearish confirmations are concerned, I get that people are fearful. Let's get into crypto fear and greed. 16, beautiful. You know, Sean just yesterday, he's looking at crypto fear and greed. Was it yesterday, Sean? A couple of days ago. He's like, they are not as fearful as they should be. I'm like, I agree. So it's actually tanked today. Yesterday it was 22, so today is actually 16, which is a good refresher. Has it dipped to 16 this time? No, it hasn't. This is the first time in this entire consolidation. 16 is the lowest. 16 is the lowest. I think, yeah, 16 inching at extreme fear. Extreme fear for the first time through this pullback. Okay, and this too, by the way, has now I'm not gonna, sentiment is important to me, right? I gauge sentiment across the board. It's subjective, but even through the trends that you see crypto fear and greed tanking into fear or extreme fear, even all of these instances, you see this was this was Feb to April of 2025. This region right here, where crypto fear and greed dipped to fear, was in summer of 2024. And this was in, what was this? Yeah, August, September of 2023. What did that line up with? Once again, the same circles. Okay, September 2023, summer 2024, Feb to April of 2025. It was the same periods. Crypto fear and greed dipping into fear. Okay, this was the initiation of the next markup phase for Bitcoin. And for as long as we do not have the triggers on the bear case, jumping the gun is imprudent. But I found this very, very interesting. The long's building up, and this often precedes the next leg up for Bitcoin. It's been very symmetrical. It's been on point in calling the next sort of phase, that next markup take profit phase. But this is a very this drives in Sean's point from earlier this cycle. For those of you who've been with Mango now since 2023, since Sean called a reversal right here at around $17,000, he had mentioned something. For those of you in the Mango Seed program, as well as the Grove chat, as well as for those of you who had been watching all of his macro thesis under the premium video section, he posted like this crazy, amazing segment calling for the Bitcoin bull market, calling for all-time high before halving, and telling us that no matter how bearish it is, even all that bearishness, the macro landscape right now leads to bullish Bitcoin coming 2023, 24, 25. He presented on the premium video section right here, right? But he had also mentioned something else, in that how this cycle could be different in that we could be moving in bursts, right? I'm like, how is that going to work? I still remember when he presented that thesis to me. I'm like, Sean, how is that going to work? I'm like, it makes no sense. I couldn't comprehend it at that time. I'm like, why do you think it's going to happen in bursts? Right? He's like, it could just move in like these very short waves. And that's essentially what happened. And I feel like the most bearish aspect of this entire bull market was that it was so excruciating. Every consolidation was just mind-numbing. I'm like, are you kidding me? We just started. Like, for fudge-mickle's sake. Like, can we just have just a normal bull market? I mean, look at TradFi. TradFi was friggin' fine. And yeah, guys, follow Sean on Twitter. He posted all of this, by the way, on his Twitter. All right, he basically even had a picture of Bitcoin telling you with an arrow, and Sean never does this. He never does this, okay? The one time he did it was when Bitcoin was at like, what, 17K? Right? He's like this, he's got an arrow, and he literally has buy here. It was the most un-Sean thing you would have seen on his Twitter. But he actually has this picture saying here. Go and give him a follow. Sean Dexter is the handle. You'll find a link to it in the description below. My intuition, 3 Dickless man, how's it going? He says, my intuition tells me Bitcoin is in a bear market. Alts will be on a bull run soon. But if Bitcoin is in a bear market, how are the alts going to be in a bull run? Bitcoin often, so I'll say this, Bitcoin does top off before the altcoins. That is an observation. But I don't think it ever breaks its cyclical indicators like the monthly 10, the biweekly dynamic. And only for the alts to be rallying in that phase. So I find that when Bitcoin turns, the altcoins turn as well, albeit the altcoins do turn after. But you know, there's one nuance to that. It's that in those instances, you'll find that it's a risk-on environment. You know, there's more greed in the market than there is fear. I think you can agree with that, right? There's a lot more greed in those instances where you actually saw the altcoins run in, say, the previous cycles of 2021, as well as in 2017, on those cycle tops. I mean, I want you guys to take yourself back to those days. And how was the market feeling? The people around you? Was it greed? Or was it fear? Especially with the altcoins. There was a lot of euphoria. Think of the entire freaking NFT mania and Luna, and there was just so much going on, right? That kind of greed, that kind of euphoria, we do not have this time around. And you'll find that there are a lot more paper hands on the altcoins this time around because of how dampened this bull run has been for the altcoins. So I feel like there's this feeling of I don't want to call it despair. Despair might be too strong a word, but like people are like giving up. They're like, ugh, screw it. You know, that was not the case back then. Now, I know like what I'm saying right here is me generalizing, and I'm applying this across the board, but I think we can agree that it's most of them. Now, I would not say that for the XRP folk. I honestly don't think XRP should be categorized in that because XRP has actually been holding up really, really, really well compared to most altcoins. But for the other segments, they went through crazy bleeds through this entire cycle. And it's not just concentrated on one phase, it's the entire cycle. Three Dickless's Inception. That's how. Trust me, bro. I hope you're right, man. I want you to be right. We haven't looked at XRP yet. We're going to be going over XRP first, but this is the bullish case for Bitcoin, where I believe that this could be a trap. As for the bear case, Bitcoin's bear case, now I get it. Everyone's calling the 4-year cycle, 4-year cycle, 4-year cycle, 4-year cycle. I get it. Right? This is one system with a pretty decent hit rate. It is a fractal-based system. That's something that needs to be said. You're looking at historic price data post-GFC. And GFC was a big event in that we had some crazy monetary policy, a lot changed during GFC. That basically put a lot of the markets in these secular bull markets, right? It was like something broke. Something broke in the way we understand our monetary policy and the plumbing of the system to have then sort of provided us with these secular bull markets. I think that COVID, you guys need to understand that this is the very first cycle getting out of COVID. This is the first cycle getting out of COVID. The first real cycle, right? There's a lot of there are very few important signatures that have already broken. these crazy 6-month bursts. The fact that in every cycle we've had these linear phases leading by exponential, right? I think I have it here actually. Yeah, there we go. We've had these linear exponential, linear exponential, linear exponential. This time it's just been a linear, very, I am in equilibrium bull market. A little too in equilibrium, bored us to freaking death. But I think we can agree that this cycle has already been really, really different, in combination with the fact that Bitcoin saw all-time high before the halving, which had never happened before. Right? There's a lot that's different this time around. Now, I'm not saying that, hey, that would disqualify the 4-year cycle. Absolutely not. But if we're looking at the fractals, then let's look at all of the fractals and what did work out and what did not work out, right? So I think there's something that needs to be said about that. But okay, let's actually consider, can I get rid of this now? Okay, there we go. Let's consider the, well, the 4-year cycle play, right? Now, the 4-year cycle play, this is something that I explained in the previous video, in that the theory is that these cycles run in 4 years, where the first 3 years marks the bull market, the last year marks the bear market. Okay, so it was the same for 2012. The first 3 years, 2012 all the way to 2013, was the bull market. 2014 was the bear market. Okay, or rather 2014, 2015. Now the next cycle, 2015 to 2017, was the bull market. 2018 was the bear market. Okay, now this one was 2019 to 2021 was the bull market. 2022 was the bear market. Now that was a partly weird cycle because of COVID. There was a major risk event that hit the world, but I'm just considering that as one big sort of cycle right there. Okay. Fast forward to 2023. Fast forward to the next cycle. 2023 all the way to 2025 bull market. So the next logic would be 2026 is bear market, right? So yeah, I mean, we're still in that. And right now, based on the 4-year cycle, we should be approaching a market top. Okay, another thing to add to that mix is that there's been symmetry between the halving all the way to the market top, right? Where in the halving of 2012 to that market top, that was a good 365 days. Halving of 2016 to that market top, that was 518 days. Halving of 2020 to that market top was another 518 days. 518 in 2016, okay, 2017, and 518 in 2020. Fast forward to this cycle. We're at the 518-day mark. So like I said, I'm going to present all the cases to you guys, but I want you guys to go and equip with all of the information. Don't cherry pick the information here. Rock says, eventually the 4-year... Oh, damn it. I wish you guys told me that you can't see it. No. Okay, there we go. You guys can see it now. No, that's not good. I'm too small. I need to change that. You guys couldn't see the chat. Okay, but Rock says, eventually the 4-year cycle will break, statistically speaking. We only have 3 data points. I think we only have this cycle. One Hone says, no, we saw it. No, I know that you guys saw it, but there are a lot of people who only catch it like after, right? So they can't really see the chat unless I put it on the screen. But yeah, for me, I'm just looking at this cycle. I'm like, this cycle, we got this data point, and that's all we're left with. Right? But the one thing that did hold true was, I mean, let's face it. Let's if we're talking about the star of this bull run, there's been a star. That star was friggin' TradFi. You'd consider that on the risk curve, right? People be like, I'm going to buy the altcoins. They're super risky, but I'm going to get so rewarded for that. I'm going to be a millionaire by the end of all of this. but it's gonna be the altcoins that get me there. More risk, more reward. And the market said, no, more risk, sleepless nights is what you're gonna be served. You could go moderate risk and still make a lot of money, because I mean, TradFi did significantly well, which is my next segue into. I want to let you guys know that on TradFi, just toggle on the Mango dashboard, by the way. You can toggle on to TradFi, but now we've also added in a bunch of quantum stocks. That's been the talk of the town. Quantum. So the ones that we've added are ARQQ, Arcit Quantum Inc. There's Ionic, which I believe did significantly well this bull run. Okay, now a lot of the quantum stocks did take a beating on this most recent pullback, but there's a strong narrative here. There's QTIM on here as well. There's Riggedy. I'm sure you guys have heard of Riggedy. That also did really, really well. So you guys can go ahead and check this out. For those of you who are looking into the quantum stocks, you're also going to be able to find that on the Mango dashboard right now. Okay, I think there are some amazing opportunities here across quantum. So don't. There are like these big narratives that could yield you guys a lot of money. So just look into them. But yeah, my point here is that you can find them on the Mango dashboard now as well, along with all of the others. XRP has more ETFs coming this week. Does it really have more ETFs coming in this week? But that's the thing, right? If people are anticipating ETFs, and I was looking at the comment section on XRP, and I know a lot of you guys are looking at the ETFs, and XRP is doing this, XRP is doing that, and a lot of people are, on the same page with that. But here's the thing with news, and here's the thing with just any sort of event. If everyone's talking about it, there's a good chance all of it is priced in. It's priced in. Okay, if you're seeing it on CNBC, if you're seeing everyone talking about it on crypto Twitter, there's a good chance that it's priced in. Okay, oftentimes the market, your edge on the market, okay, when it comes to news, it's always about information asymmetry. Okay, it's always about information asymmetry. If everybody knows about it, there's no asymmetry over there. Everyone already knows. You capitalize on asymmetry. If everyone's talking about it, that edge is gone. Okay, there's a good chance it's been priced in. So with that, let's actually get on to XRP. I did cover XRP in detail yesterday on a daily video. Right now, shorts across 4-hour, 12-hour, shorts across the board. Volatility is super healthy still, except for the 12-hour, flashing red. But it's telling me that, okay, the bears still might have a bit more juice to take this down a bit further. Now, just because I'm saying it could go down a bit further, yeah, on the lower time frames. That said, bi-weekly is still holding up well. So we'll go over the lower time frames in a minute. I just want to show you guys the bi-weekly. Guys, bi-week, the dynamic has been keeping you guys on the right side of almost every single trade. Okay, it helped me get out of my XRP position on a very, very, very good level. Okay, so now that prices pull back, I can take advantage of this. I can buy more XRP for less. Okay, now I was playing the weekly system. Sean, for one, he's like, no, the cycle currently is being written on the bi-weekly dynamic, and so far it's holding true. All right, the entire time now, these are systems you don't want to be fighting. Right? It's literally telling you that, hey, if the bulls have come in, if they've walked into the room, this is where they walk in. Okay, bi-weekly dynamic support. Bi-weekly dynamic support, and we're still holding the $2 mark as well, which has been a massive zone of contention between the bulls and the bears. All right, on the previous two bull markets, just to show you guys very, very quickly, previous two bull markets. This is the wrong chart, Crush. There we go. Okay, previous two bull markets, that's where $2 is where XRP got rejected off of. All right, so for as long as we're holding that $2 mark, oh, thank God, clean chart. For as long as we're holding the $2 mark and we're holding the biweekly dynamic support, this is fine. Okay, this is already the monthly, but let's go on to biweekly dynamic support. This is fine. For those of you on the level tier, you do not have access to the dynamic indicator. The current level is coming from around 232 down to 219. Take note of it. Titan's Place says, is your $23 target still this year? $23 target was for this cycle. And I'm keeping, now this is something I mentioned in my previous video as well. My targets don't change, okay? Targets are not changing. I showed you exactly how I have come to those targets. Now that's not going to change just randomly without any system breaking, right? The $23 target was hinged on the macro symmetrical triangle. Now until the symmetrical triangle gets invalidated, the target remains. It's simple. Has it gotten invalidated just yet? What are your thoughts? Here, I'll draw it out for you. You tell me. If my targets change, guys, I'll come out here and tell you that, yo, it's changed. Although, how do you change your targets? You can change. I've been very honest with the XRP community. I think I can say that, and you guys would be able to agree. I've been very honest with you guys, right? I've been telling you guys this. For as long as I believe XRP is in a bull market, $23 is going to be my target. I think I've been clear about that, right? For as long as I believe XRP and crypto are in a bull market, $23 remains the target. Now, when your magnitude goes up, you guys need to understand when it comes to targets, right? When your magnitude of the target goes up, right, that risk to reward profile goes up, your target range goes up, the holding time goes up. These things don't play out in a fortnight. They play out in a span of months, maybe even years. Bull markets, I've just showed you with Bitcoin, run for 3 years every cycle. Okay, so for as long as XRP remains in a bull market, 23 for me remains the target, hinged particularly on the symmetrical triangle play. It's very difficult to draw a pattern on any chart that spans years in the making. So I take those very seriously. Why am I using $23? A lot of people ask me, oh, Crusher, you're doing the log chart. Is it inappropriate to use a log chart? It really depends on the asset that you're looking at. The thing is, with crypto moves like in an exponential fashion, right? Because it moves in an exponential fashion, I use the log chart. Now, this might not be true. I don't always use the log chart, say, for some TradFi stocks. They don't move in an exponential fashion. But crypto does what? This was 562% in a matter of 3 months. TradFi doesn't move like that, which is why I use a log chart for crypto. And also, guys, just a quick heads up, I've been posting a lot of trade setup under the premium video section right here and giving you guys like constant updates. So for those of you who actually have access to the Mango Dashboard Premium, make sure you're keeping up with the premium videos. Because yeah, I've been having a lot of fun posting trades on there. We had an amazing bar trade, which did exceptionally well. We got up to target 2 pretty fast. I think that was probably a short squeeze that took it up there. Core says, I'm fine on XRP taking yours and manage risks when the chart asks to act. Exactly. You got to learn how to manage your risk and manage your losses. If it's not a conviction trade and you've told yourself that no, you're only going to be riding the trade for this cycle and this is a trend trade, follow your system, man. Don't just bag hold and be like, oh, the trade went against me, so I'm going to make an excuse. I'm going to sit in this for the next years to come and everything's going to be A-okay. Don't do that. Okay, follow your system, follow the initial guidelines you set for yourself on that very trade. Hey, thank you. Wanahone, did I say that right? Okay, so this is XRP. Like I said, you guys can go ahead and check it out. I did a dedicated video just yesterday and I posted that. There's a lot more insight in there. And also, guys, before I forget, BitUnix, there is another bonus. Bonus equals free money. Take advantage of it. Okay, now this has a bit of a kicker, a really good kicker. This is something I really like. That way you guys are not like just like squandering the opportunity. Okay, so now the deposit bonus comes with a bit of a cool twist. Now, here are your deposit amounts: 500 USDT, 1000 USDT, 2K USDT, 5K USDT, and 10K USDT. And for each corresponding deposit, you get a trading bonus. Now, this is free money you can trade with, you can use to trade with, put on a trade, and most importantly, it's going to help you buffer against losses. I cannot tell you, when I was new to trading, this would have helped me tremendously. All right, just in building confidence on my execution, my risk management, everything. Just having that free money to put on the trade. All right? Because what this is going to help you with is buffer against losses when you are looking to learn, when you are looking to test a certain trade strategy, when you are looking to test your execution, when you have this really amazing short system that you found and you want to put it to the test, right? But you're also too scared of losing too much money. Right? So at those points, you're like, man, I wish I had some spare cash. Just like, just test this out. This is it. Free money, corner of the room. Okay. So now the way this works is that you deposit 500. Now the next step, there's a 2-step. Deposit 500, put on one trade. No, the position size does not matter. Okay. You could put the most minimum position just to test it out. Okay. You want to test a trade strategy, put in the minimum position, $10, $20, whatever. Okay, so deposit 500, trade once. That's the only criteria, and you get the trading bonus. All right, you can use this, more importantly, to buffer against losses. That way, if you do take a loss, it's not your money that you're losing. You're only losing the house's money. The house's money goes first. Okay, so you get all of these nice trading bonuses for the deposits. So take advantage of this. Of course, you're going to be... Okay, nice. Sean linked it in the chat, but you'll also find a link to it in the description below. Check it out. Man, I wish these things were there when I started trading. I was a shaky trader, and Sean was like, Christian, no, you got to build confidence. And that's one of the biggest things about being a trader, right? In your learning curve, it's not just about you learning how to, the TA aspect of things. But being a trader is everything. It's like an umbrella. Okay, within that umbrella, you got your TA. There's your risk management, of course, but then there is execution, which is a whole different monster. Right? You have like these amazing trade strategies. You've come up with it. You've been following price action. You've been taking your notes, and now you got to put it to the test. So now you got to execute, and that's when the nerves begin to come up, and you're just like, oh shit. This is harder than I thought. What if I lose? That's always the first thought. What if this time it doesn't work out? I went through that I went through that a lot when I first started trading. But yeah, those kind of bonuses really help. So please take advantage of it. Now, the next coin I really want to talk about is none other. What is this monster? Can someone please tell me, what is this monster? ZEC. Zcash. Freaking insane. Zcash is like, yeah, bear market, I'll show you. Hold my beer. Daily time frame and 2-day time frame. Did you guys notice the returns? What is this? 1K. The returns broke. Returns like 1K. What the hell happened? Let's go over ZEC. Right? When you see these kind of things, you should be nervous. What happened? This is a vertical line up. I remember Zcash 2017. It hit the charts. This is when Bitcoin was going through the entire the forking event. Shortly after that, or was it before or after, but it was during that time, Zcash dropped. It had a black and yellow logo. I still remember it. It was trading on. There were only 2 exchanges back then. There was Polo and there was Bittrex. And it was only like end of 2017 cycle did Binance come out. But anyways, I first saw this on Bittrex. Zcash. It wasn't doing as well back then. We were on the tail end of the bull run. But yeah, it's really... So just the other day, once again, this was in the mastermind call. For those of you in the Mango Seed program, every Thursday we have some of the best sessions ever, okay, in terms of really finding edge in these markets. A lot of people come in and share what they found in terms of the next biggest trade, right? The next biggest theme. A lot of great alpha has been dropped in there over the past few months now. Sean dropped a bomb of a trade thesis. This is for the next 10 to 15 years. You guys know what a bright macro mind Sean is. And the one he is onto is going to be pretty big. In fact, these are charts that are already moving in a big way. They have altcoin-like gains on them. All right, so for those of you in the mastermind, in the seed program, every Thursday mastermind sessions, those sessions are recorded. So you guys need to start keeping up with them and join the sessions. All right, if you're awake, join the sessions. It's a live conversation, a fun conversation. But yeah, Zcash. Sean had brought this up and he was telling everybody about Zcash. And this is apparently a fork of Bitcoin. So I believe there's a lot of Bitcoin-like characteristics. Proof of work. Is this too? Can someone tell me if this is 21 million as well? Basically fixed supply. But proof of work, the fact that it's been here since 2017, we got longest chain effects in play. Right? So there's a lot going on for Zcash right now. Yeah, yes, 21 million fixed supply. Scarcity is where the money's at. So yeah, proof of work, 21 million fixed supply. And look at this chart. It is freaking going. So privacy, the whole privacy segment seems to be picking up a lot of steam recently. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, I don't. If someone does know something, fill everybody in on the chat. But Zcash right now looks explosive. Is this price discovery? I think it is. We got price discovery on Zcash. Can someone correct me? Is there another chart with more price history? I don't know if they have. I know it was Bittrex, but I know Bittrex is no more. Okay, Kraken. Mock pointed this out. He's like, wait a minute, this is $11,500. It did not start there, so I think this is just a Kraken only thing. But yeah, almost a price discovery. The highest it got to was 888. This was back in 2018. We're getting up to that. Almost there, but if this month of November closes over 492, that would be the highest monthly close ever. Like, how can you possibly be bearish, right, on the markets when you have coins moving like this? It's rejecting off of the 4.236. Is that fib? So yeah, it's if you're playing the lower time frames, right, then by all means look at the levels that is appropriate to your time frame. But I don't want you guys be very cognizant, by the way. If you're like, I'm going to play this for the cycle, I'm going to be looking for targets way over $1,500. That's fine. Do that. Okay, but don't go looking for those big targets and then play your damn trade on the 1 hour time frame. I see too many people do that and I'm just like, no, please don't. the 1 hour time frame will kick you out of what is supposed to be a much larger swing trade. The larger your target, the more your holding time goes up. Please remember that. But yeah, right now this is a key, a minor, is it a key or a minor? Krisha, make up your mind. Well, it's a zone of resistance on the 4 hour time frame. Let's put it that way. Okay, zone of resistance on the 4 hour time frame. This starts going up. Past 690, we got a breakout, at which point 888, here we come. Okay, so I'm going to do another, we're already at the 1 hour mark. I'm going to be doing just one more altcoin. Which one? Before we wrap up. Let's go on over to Bitcoin as well. What's Bitcoin doing on the dashboard while I wait for your altcoin requests? Okay, Wanahone says Sol. Let's do Sol. Bitcoin also, just earlier in this video, I said that, you know, if I'm a bear, I would be sweating. That's why I took on those minor short positions just to test the emotion. The emotion barometer. I'm like, if I was a bear here, I'd be shitting bricks. Okay, I would be sweating right now. And if there's one thing that's also complementing that feeling, it's the volatility readings and the trend readings on the Mango dashboard. So yes, we're seeing shorts across the board. You're up on all those trades, good stuff. Volatility readings at freaking highs. Okay, 71, 98, 77, 73. Even if the bears do take this down a bit more further, I think we're reaching the zone of exhaustion, right? And you can see that across the board, they're struggling to see continuation. There's hesitance. There's like that fuel just being run out, right? It's like they're losing momentum. It's like, can we take this down a bit more? And there's no feedback. So I see the bears getting a bit exhausted here. Yeah, bears are getting sweaty. Ain't none got time for sweaty bears. Bears are getting sweaty, man. I'm just gonna tell you that. They're getting real sweaty right now. Okay, so let's do Sol. This one is for a Wanahone. Okay. Okay, Sol shorts across the board. 4 hour time frame though, so the lowest time frame. Volatility at 8. Oof. That's a pretty healthy volatility reading, telling me that if the bears want to take this down a bit further, they can. Once again, we're looking at the 4 hour time frame. Be very cognizant of the time frame that you're looking at, looking for follow through to the downside. Okay, so while 4 hour can see a bit more of a bleed, I still think based on what the 12 hour volatility is telling me, 93. We got 59 on daily. We got 2 day at 87. We could be heading into a zone of support. Okay, so if you are someone swinging short, yeah, you could see, like I said, a bit more downside, but not without a bit of buying pressure pouring in right here. So, but ultimately, even the dashboard, use the dashboard, by the way, it's been freaking splendid in really picking out some good trade opportunities. So I hope you guys are keeping up with the dashboard, because oftentimes your charts get very overwhelming. You're like, where's the trade at? Where's the trade at? There's just so much. What do I look at? Use the dashboard. Okay, it's going to tell you what to be looking at if you're looking to put on a trade. Okay, volatility is the lifeblood of these markets. Right now, we're seeing a very, very volatile market, which means opportunity for you, which means money for you. All right, now, while the dashboard will help you sift through the opportunities, you always want to back it up with a bit more of information, which is none other than your TA. Okay, never use any sort of indicator in isolation. Buff up your trade setup. Okay, now as far as as far as Solana is concerned, you can see how that ascending triangle freaking failed miserably. But let's go ahead. I'm going to clear this out. So the one thing that really stands out to me right off the bat, right? We got critical support coming in at 122. This has been historic support for Solana. All right. We've seen it get supported right here. Buys poured in. buyer support in this entire range. Jeez Louise, March 24th, all the way to September 2024. Every single touch. I mean, bulls, buyers stepped in every single time. Took prices up, even got back down for the second time. Once again, same thing. Even the previous bull market of 2022. Okay, that was the major point of rejection. All right, so that was support flipped into resistance, back into support this cycle, and still as support. So what I do see Solana doing right here, honestly, is 122 is going to be, I won't be surprised if price actually comes down to give 122 another official test. Right, we have a bit of a bear flag. Now remember, our 4-hour is showing you that, hey, volatility reading super low while the trend remains short. We might be putting in a bit of a bear flag right here. Not broken just yet, so we don't call breakdowns until we see the actual breakdown. But for now, it's getting sort of rejected off of the 10 SMA. Right, but if we do see that breakdown, 122 is going to be next stop, okay, which has been macro support for Solana. Not one I want to be fighting against. Now, I know that some of you are like, Krisha, do you see it? Do you see it? Yes, I see it. But do we call a pattern before the break? No, we don't. If you really have to put a weighting on a bearish pattern versus a macro region of support, bearish pattern in that order, okay? Macro region of support on top, and then right under that, significantly under. Okay, maybe not significantly under, considering that this has been in place since March 2024. It's been well over a year. I would still, it goes up in priority a tad bit, but not as much as macro region of support. Okay, so macro region of support first needs to break 122. You don't call bear break without the break of a critical region of support, because it could very well do something like this. I can hear the door open. Sean might be pulling me out now. But yeah, this is it, 122.58. Cool beans. Now, I think we can wrap up right now. It has been an hour and 7 minutes, and Sean is pulling the plug on me right on cue. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in today. I really appreciate the audience all the time. I will be responding to your comments. And of course, if you guys, by the way, for those of you who are into TradFi assets and you guys want me to start covering more of TradFi, which means stocks, be it tech, be it quantum, anything that you're looking at, please let me know by getting into the comments and telling us that you want us to start covering the, equities as well. Okay, because we have been trading it. There is opportunity, and we would like to be presenting that to you if you guys are interested. So please let us know in the comments section below, even if it's Forex, if it's even like precious metals, gold. Get into the comment section and let us know that, hey, we want you guys to cover XYZ, whatever it is that you guys are looking at. Okay, and we'd be more than happy to be covering that. And yes, once again, all links to Dashboard, Dynamic, the Seed program, the Sprouts program in the description below. More importantly, BitUnix, free money, corner of the room. Use it, deposit, trade once, bonus is yours. Okay, now with this, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your weekend. Do not panic, do not FOMO. If you guys have these emotions, take a walk. And hey, if it's just getting out of control, get into the Discord chat. You have an entire community at your disposal to, well, talk it out with. All right, with this, trade safely, trade stress-free, trade the mango way, trade the easy way. Ciao, you guys.